Hi there, welcome to Thrive with Tui. In this video, I'm going to share how I avoided tearing or having an episiotomy using a device called the EPI-NO, which looks like this. I'm going to share what it is, how it works, what I did, and what benefits I noticed. And before we dive into it, I just want to mention that I am not sponsored or affiliated, or I don't have any personal benefit to promote this device. I just generally want to share about it because I was surprised how this is not more commonly known. I think it's weird because it really can significantly improve your chances of not tearing, and what it also does is really helps you, or can really help you to build your confidence. So yeah, for me it was surprising when I learned about this that not every mama knows about this at least. So I just want to spread the knowledge, and if this is something that interests you, is calling you in this video, you're gonna learn more about this device and how it works and how to use it. So this is the EPI-NO. We call it with my husband jokingly a vagina balloon, because that's basically what it is. There's this balloon that you insert in your vagina. They do have some different models about it. I didn't really dive into it more specifically. I just ordered the one, I don't even know which one this is called. I think they had two different ones. One is without this kind of monitor thing where you can see the pressure, the numbers, and then there is this one with has this manual kind of monitoring thing. So how it works is really simple. So first you wash this balloon, and then what you do is you make yourself comfortable. You're in a private, comfortable space, obviously, where you're not going to be disturbed or anything. What you can do as well, because you're going to spend some time having this balloon in your vagina, so you can have something to, entertain you if you want. You can have some books or listen to a podcast or have your hypnobirthing meditations, whatever it might be that you want to do, potentially when you are chilling for 10 to 20 minutes with this thing inside of you. But basically just making sure that you are comfortable and that you have everything that you need on hand, because you can't really move much when you have this. And then you insert this balloon thingy, so you can deflate it all the way small. You insert this inside about I guess 2/3, not fully, but about 2/3, a little bit over that halfway middle point. And then you lock in. There is this this thing that you can lock in, and then you start to pump air into it. And the whole point of this EPI-NO device is that you can, there's a few functions. You can strengthen your pelvic floor muscles, and you can learn to relax your pelvic floor muscles, and then specifically you can stretch the pelvic floor muscles, your perineum, before you are giving birth. I started personally around 1 month before. So I'm specifically going to talk about how to use it for the stretching and the birthing practice purpose. So when you have this balloon inside and you start to inflate it, you first, just on the first time you do it, it's more about seeing how the whole thing works. And it's important that you don't go to a point that it starts to cause too much pain. So you kind of want to stop at that edge where you feel a slight discomfort of stretch, but not too much. And then let's say this would be day 1. You're gonna hold it inside for 10 to 20 minutes, and then after that you're gonna keep it inflated and you're gonna birth it out. So this is the cool part, where you get to actually practice the sensation, how it feels to birth the thing out of your vagina. And then once you have done it, you have this measuring template. You have both the diameter in inches and centimeters, depending on which one you prefer. I use the centimeter one. And then you would place this balloon on the edge. I would use a book or something to have it surely on the kind of the right line, and then you check how many centimeters you had. So for example, this one would be 5 centimeters. I think that's where I started on day 1. And then the whole point is that every day you would go, optimally, you would go a slightly bit more. The the difficult part is that this number doesn't really tell you, like, it's not correlating to like how big it is. It's more just like about the pressure. So if you would, for example, when you have this balloon inside and you will start to giggles, you will see like this thing moving. So it's more about like the pressure inside that you can use also for the like pelvic floor strengthening exercises, especially after giving birth when you're building it back. But you can't really know how big the balloon is other than by the feel. So basically it might be tricky, but the good side is that you just really have to listen to your body. So you really have to listen to when it feels like, okay, this is the edge today. It might not be like linear and gradual every single day. So sometimes I also remember I had a couple of days that I would be like at the same, or sometimes even slightly less. So it's not like every single day you have to progress, obviously. You just listen to where you're at on that day. But yeah, then gradually, with those few weeks before you give birth, ideally you would like build the balloon up all the way to 10 centimeters, which is the goal to get to. So then you see the balloon gets bigger and bigger the more you pump it, and eventually you will get it to 10 centimeters or close to that, which is said to be roughly the size of your baby's head when they're born. Obviously the head also is still soft and it squeezes, but eventually, optimally, in the optimal case, of course, it depends like when your baby is going to come and how consistent you're able to be, and many factors, but eventually the optimal case is that you would have on the final days leading to your birth, you would have the balloon at around 10 centimeters, and then you would be able to birth it out as well, which of course physically allows your body to gradually stretch your perineum and your pelvic floor muscles, and teaches you how to relax, teaches you how to breathe, teaches you to be with the strong sensations, and then also helps you to mentally prepare and build confidence. I feel like that was a very big thing for me, because there is no really many ways that you can practice giving birth before you actually give birth to your child, right? Like there's not many things that you can just like do to, okay, I wonder how it feels, I'm gonna do this. So this really was like that one thing for me, that when I got to, I think I got to 10 centimeters, like on the week that I gave birth, I really felt like, yes, like now like of course it's quite a strong sensation when you birth 10 centimeters out. But for me, that just did that thing that I was like, okay, my body's done it. I'm ready, like as ready as I can be from that aspect, that I've like stretched gradually. I feel that I've been practicing, and I just felt so much more confident than if I wouldn't have been doing the daily practice, if I wouldn't have been using the EPI-NO. And so yeah, after you have then birthed the balloon out, you can first wash it with clean water or mild soap, and then you can just let it deflate, and then you just let it air dry and be ready for your next session. So that's basically it. It's very simple. How I personally did it, I think I went straight from the start for that 20 minutes every day. So I built a little practice around it. That was like my time where I was really envisioning my birth, and I was really like present. So I consciously chose to not distract myself by like just reading something totally different or listening to some podcast. I think I was just like every day, that was like my time, and I was like really being with my body, practicing the breathing, being present, connecting to baby, especially when it was time to birth the balloon out, especially towards the like the bigger numbers, like when the balloon starts to be big, it can be quite like it is stretchy. So I don't know, they say that there's this ring of fire. I didn't remember really feeling that so much when I actually gave birth, but I definitely did feel it in some way, or like a very strong kind of burning sensation when I was like closer to the 10 centimeters. And what I did when I was birthing the balloon out, really consciously focusing on softening the body and relaxing the pelvic floor muscles. And you really feel it when you do this, like what happens when you tense and when you relax. So you can kind of also play with this, like what is it when you push, when you tense, and when you relax, like what happens when the balloon goes in, when the balloon goes out. And then another thing that I did, just intuitively, I started to always smile. So I was teaching my body that this is like a pleasant thing, and this is a thing that's going to bring my baby into this world. So every single time when I was birthing, even that there were like strong sensations present, I don't want to use the word pain because it's not really like painful. It's just like can be powerful, strong, intense. And so for me, this was like a big part of it, was like teaching the body that I'm safe, it's okay, I've got this, my body has got this. The only things that I found personally a bit challenging with using the EPI-NO was what I already mentioned at the start, that you can't really know from this, I don't know what this thing is called, but you can't really see from anywhere when the balloon is inside you like how big it is. So you really have to just trust the sensations of your body. And sometimes, especially when I started to get towards like 8-9 centimeters, you kind of might want to stop earlier, but you don't, like, if you would know like, okay, I just need to do like 1 or 2 squeezes more and I would be like gradually a little bit more than yesterday, that would be in a way helpful. For me, sometimes I was like doubting, like, oh, maybe I didn't, because you can't even really like count how many times you do it. So sometimes I was really like just struggling with that a little bit, not knowing before I actually birthed the balloon and then was able to measure. But there was always this kind of excitement to see like how big it was, like how many centimeters. Sometimes I was really surprised. I thought it was much smaller and was much bigger, and sometimes it was the other way around. But overall, I remember for me it was quite gradual. So just listening to the sensation of the body, I think for me it was like really most of the time quite linear, but I was able to grow and stretch when my body was getting used to and stretching safely. The other thing that I found a little bit challenging, especially at the start, was kind of like figuring out how far to place the balloon into your vagina and also to keep it there and finding like a comfortable position. So at the start, when it was just like a few centimeters, it was a little bit easier, but because you're not supposed to insert the whole thing and then just chill, I remember that I had to kind of find positions where I was like holding it inside, because otherwise it's very easily wants to like pulp out in a way. So sometimes I found that a little bit challenging, especially when it got bigger. I remember I had to like be in like some half kneeling, lunging positions and like really find position where I was able to actively kind of keep pushing it up to keep the balloon in the point where it was stretching, but it wouldn't like either pulp inside or pulp outside. So that I found sometimes a little bit tricky and also a little bit uncomfortable. So especially the last, I think week or two, it wasn't like I was just chilling, like relaxed in bed. It was like really like an active position to keep for 20 minutes. Sometimes it felt a little bit long. So when to start using the EPI-NO? On the EPI-NO official website, they state, it can be used from any time during the pregnancy to exercise the pelvic floor muscles, but from 37 weeks, the EPI-NO exercises enhance the function of the natural pregnancy hormone relaxing to prepare the perineum with gentle stretching exercises known as perineal massage. This then reduces the risk of tearing or the need for an episiotomy during childbirth. So with the timing, as I said, I think I started about 1 month before my due date. I did have a couple of days that I was sort of like rather practicing it and like figuring out how it works. And I personally like that I started rather a little bit earlier than recommended, because I also had this what if baby comes earlier and I don't have enough time to like build up. So I wanted to have that kind of little bit of a buffer rather than like leave it on the last minute in a way. But if you're unsure, definitely, of course, check with your birth team. So in conclusion, for me, using the EPI-NO for about 20 minutes a day for roughly 1 month before I went into labor definitely gave me a ton of confidence and mentally prepared me. Just like this is the only way for me that I could think of like how I can actually practice physically the giving birth part. And then of course also physically, this really allowed my perineum to stretch gradually and safely without kind of like going into like straight away like what happens in birth, like things have to stretch down there. So I definitely believe this did play a big role in my birth being so smooth and not tearing at all, and also recovering extremely quickly. Of course, there's also many other factors that will affect whether you tear or not, or need to have an episiotomy or not, or how your birth goes. I'm not saying like this is the one thing that definitely was the key for it. Also, I don't have anything to compare, so I don't know what would have happened if I wouldn't have used it, but definitely I don't think there would have been any like side effects or any like downsides to it. So definitely I, in a way, do believe it was a very positive thing for me personally to use it. And that's also what many other women say. There was a study done surveying over 1,000 women, and according to that survey, using the EPI-NO reduced the risk of tearing or an episiotomy for 42%. Some other things that I believe really helped me to not tear was that I didn't use an epidural, so I was able to feel what was happening in my body, and I was able to work with the surgeons. And I was very active throughout my pregnancy. I was doing a lot of like birth preparing, birth focused movements to create space in my pelvis, to be able to be in all sorts of positions, also during birth. It's crazy to me that to my understanding, in many hospital births, you are kind of, I don't know if it's maybe changed and specific to your country, but still many births happen, the woman needing to lay on their back in a bed, which is just working against gravity and just a very unnatural position to give birth. So yeah, for me, being able to like spend a lot of time like deep squats and lunges and all sorts of like movements that allow to get into those positions, and also during the birth itself to be able to like help baby move into an optimal position, and then also intuitively feel in which position I wanted to push baby out, instead of being, for example, forced to lay on my back in a bed. And another thing that I believe helped with not tearing for me was I was lubricating my vagina with olive oil for about 1 month before giving birth every evening, and I believe this helped to like nourish and moisturize the tissues, and that might have also helped to the body to be able to take it. And the last thing that I will mention on the preparation on, like, of course, there's so many things that, again, we are not in control of when it comes to birth. So you can do all these things and you can do everything right, and you can still tear and you can still have your birth go totally differently than what you would have hoped for and planned. So I'm not saying like just follow these steps and you're not gonna tear. Like, obviously that's not how it goes. Just sharing my experience and what I believe helped me, and if and when I'm gonna hopefully have another child at some point, the birth might be completely different. I might do the exact same things and the outcomes might be totally different. So again, there's like no guarantees when it comes to birth, but still I believe like preparing in a way that feels aligned to you and doing your best that helps you to feel the most comfortable and safe and confident and excited, all of the things, like finding those things can really help you preparing for your labor. So that thing, what I wanted to share was also the aspect of kind of like manifestation. I don't even want to use that word because it's such a like buzzword, and again, like it's not about like I just manifested my dream birth, but regarding the tearing part, I do believe that our thinking, our beliefs and our words have a very big impact on the reality that we are creating. So if you are afraid of tearing, I would avoid like obsessively thinking about it and speaking, oh, I'm so afraid, I hope I'm not tearing. Like kind of like even saying that word or thinking that word is already kind of like putting focus in it, and what we focus on grows. So I would rather, if you do have those kind of thoughts and if you do have like beliefs like that, that is legit and it's not like just pretend they're not there, but maybe finding like ways to express it differently. So for example, instead of saying like I hope I don't tear, it's like I hope I have a smooth birth, or I hope I have a very fast recovery, or you know, like kind of wording differently your thoughts and also the things that you say out loud. So yeah, that's my experience and my thoughts on the EPI-NO. Last thing, I would definitely recommend to have your own. Funnily, I actually got to know about the EPI-NO from a woman who was like selling certain like packages for like birth equipment, like birth pools and things like that, affirmation cards and stuff. And this was on the list. And that's how I got to know about it, and I looked into it. But I definitely would not recommend like renting the EPI-NO or renting it out or sharing it, because it is like a hygienic thing that I believe everyone, and I also read it from their website, you should definitely not like share it around, even if you're able to sterilize it or clean it or use some, I don't know, protection around it. But I definitely would not start risking those kind of things, especially before you give birth. So I would definitely recommend getting your own. And if you want to get one of these EPI-NO devices for yourself, again, this video is not sponsored, so I'm not providing any affiliate links or something. I see if I can pop a link in the description, but probably you just Google and see, depending on which country, in which part of the world you are, where you're most able to like buy it or order it. And if I'm gonna have more children, I'm definitely gonna use the EPI-NO again. Also, one thing that you can do with the EPI-NO is after giving birth in your postpartum recovery journey, you can use it to strengthen your pelvic floor muscles. I personally didn't do it. I was busy with other things and I just sort of like forgot about it and just couldn't be bothered. And once I kind of like found it back and remembered about it, it was already like 3-4 months after giving birth. So I personally didn't really need it. I recovered really fast and did other sort of exercises, but just to mention that you can also use it after giving birth, and you can use the EPI-NO for several births, like just as long as it's your device and you're not like sharing it around with someone else. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some valuable information. If you have any questions, pop them in the comment section and I see if I'm able to answer those questions. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.